I think my biggest regret in Kannada films is I was not around to do Puttanna Kanagal's film. I was I think greatest admirer. I must have seen all his films multiple times, and I so regret that he's not around, and I was never able to do a film for him. His movies have inspired me totally. Each and every one of his movies, I think. And of course, there are movies in Tamil and Telugu and Malayalam. I mean, there are innumerable, very well, but it's very rarely that the female actors get opportunities to really play out their potential. It's That's a regrettable fact. But I was lucky enough to do a few films which satisfied me. But a lot of movies like Shabara's Me's Arth, those are the kind of movies. Gulzar's movies. And Gulzar is one movie maker whom I admire greatly. And of course, world cinema, there are too many. Like Meryl Streep's movies, if you take, I mean, she's amazing at this age. I think she's 60 plus, but the kind of work she does even today, if she can pull off a Mamma Mia even today, I mean, there's no end to her versatility. I mean, one can only admire her and not aspire to be her. I think she's such a huge talent. I think Ranganayaki, I would not call his part a small one, because I think that's one of his finest performances. That's my favorite performance of his. I think Puttanna drew out a certain quality in him which no other director could ever tap. You saw a different version of Ambrish in each and every Puttanna films. As far as Nagrahau goes, that's a legendary movie, and why not? That is the one which launched him, though he had only 2 or 3 scenes in that. Apparently, what I heard, these stories are legendary now. It's the first time when a kind of a villain character entered the screen, people started whistling and clapping from the first day, second show itself. So the movie was I think, blockbuster hit and a classic. So I think the selection is quite okay based on the, even Padvarali Pandaru, I think he had a good role. I don't think you need to be, the central character as in the number of scenes you have in the film. As long as you have a very good role, you could, I think, be convincing even in a 5 minute role. So if they have selected, they must have had a good reason for selecting those movies. Songs, he has so many songs. I think on for his 60th birthday, when we had to sit down and shortlist his songs, we had such a problem trying to limit it to that many songs, because we found he had so many hit songs. But my favorite was Olavina Hudugare from his. I think that was the most melodious song and a forever song. Even I think people love that song even today. And so I managed to convince Abhi's filmmakers to incorporate that song. So people will get to see a different version of the same song in Amar movie as well. Yeah, I think I've done more number of films with Chiranjeevi, and dates right back to, I think, nearly more than 30 plus years when I started working with him, and we did a number of films. So there was this level of comfort with him, and I feel personally that he was one of the most, and he is the professional actors I've ever worked with. Very hardworking, very sincere, dedicated to his profession, very passionate about films, and he was a very easy co-star to work with. So definitely one would look forward to working with actors like that. And also on another level, personally, we were family friends as well. So it was always a pleasure to work with him. As far as Mr. Rajkumar, it was I think, my first film in Kannada. I've done only one film with him, and I was just 16 years old. And I think I was the most nervous person. I didn't know the language. I didn't know um, anything about. I was really raw that time, but I cannot forget the way they treated me. The unit, the sets, the whole family, whether it was he or Mrs. Parvathamma, they treated me like a child. They knew I was young, I was nervous, and he was the first superstar I had worked with.
Right, right.
So, and he was so much more senior. So I think, but he went out of his way to put me at ease. He would come down to my level, and talk about subjects. Probably I didn't realize at that time that they were not his kind of topics, but
Right.
to make me feel comfortable, he would, speak about those things, and he put me at ease totally. So, looking back, I can see how great he was actually. There was not much of an art house cinema as such those days in the 80s when we were working. It was more like masala kind of films. But I was lucky enough to do a few good Telugu and a lot of good Malayalam films at that time. Malayalam films gave me the opportunity to work with directors like Bharathan, Padmarajan, and one of my films, Tu Anatumbigal, is still remembered. My character in that movie is still very much admired and loved by people in Kerala, and it's considered a kind of a cult classic movie right now. So I was lucky enough to work with directors like K. Vishwanath in Telugu, Bapu, and a lot of other directors who gave me movies like Shruti Layalu and Swayam Krushi. And even though I would not call them strictly art house movies, they were kind of a middle of the center kind of a movies. It is neither art nor commercial, but they offered me good um, scope for performing. I was doing films, even otherwise, I was doing just one or two films a year. It's not like, you cannot find time to do what you want. Films have been our life from the time I was 15. I entered films, and it's been a very long journey. By next year, it would be my 40th year in films. So it's not like I can leave films or think of never. I will never say never. I think if there is an opportunity and if there is time, and definitely I would love to do a film or two. But definitely it cannot be like on a regular basis. It has. I have to go with the flow and see how it is.